I'm Tony Blauer. This is SPEAR, Spontaneous Protection Enabling Accelerated Response.
All right, so SPEAR. Quickly, tell me what that means and how it relates to things we're learning today.
Okay, so everybody has a cross-extensor reflex in their body. It's the startle flinch. It's part of your survival reflex. And so whenever you flinched, like if you turned and you saw a spider here, or a wasp, or a bumblebee, there's that micro flinch, that movement. If you're at a golf course, a lot of people are laughing, he plays golf, I don't play golf. Someone sells 4, your hands come up, you're getting something out of a cupboard, and the box falls down, your hands come up. You know, someone goes to hit you, those hands come up. When we're out in the wild, we flinch. You don't see this type of flinching in boxing matches in MMA because there's situational awareness. People have already consented to be there. So that's a really important thing to realize, but it unites all of us. Everybody flinches, and so what we did was we spent decades studying the neuroscience behind that, and we teach people how to weaponize the startle flinch.
Okay, so a startle flinch,
Yep.
right? Meaning something surprise, catch me off guard. It's
Right.
everyone's human reaction to
Yes.
throw hands up and kind of protect themselves. And you figured out a way to take advantage of that process and go probably, I'm guessing, quickly from defense to offense.
Right. And so if you think about your startle flinch is like this organic airbag. So I'm here talking to you and you go to punch me. I'm going, calm down, and I do that. The micro flinch happens. That's the airbag deploying. At the moment that we flinch, our reptilian brain bypasses executive function. So if I asked you, what would you do if I punch you? We go, I'd wax on, wax off, I'd bob and weave, I'd slip. You're a boxer, you go, I'd slip and I parry. But if you're standing there at a bar and someone goes, Clint Emerson, you turn, you fucking throws a punch, your hands are gonna come up. And so we talk about that, our conventional, our conscious situational awareness, everyone says head on a swivel, gets hijacked and bypassed by the limbic system, the reptilian brain, when it's a surprise attack. We were just talking off camera about an incident where someone snuck up on you and you said there was a micro flinch there, right? So when we learn that the micro flinch is actually when our situational awareness is compromised, our survival system kicks in. So this is the default motion, is to cover the head. And then if it's a frontal attack, it's to push away danger. That's why you'll see all those pictures all over the internet, baseball pictures and soccer pictures. When people are flinching, you'll see this, you'll see hands coming out, moving towards the threat. When you look at that, and I started studying that, I went, everyone displays their fingers, their arms always go outside 90, so those became the 2 cues to develop the system. But there's 2 other dominant flinches that people do. If something comes at you from an oblique angle, so like a hook punch, or someone's, you feel danger here, is the hands come up to the head, but you rotate away. And then, so the first primary one is primal, cover the head, push away danger, and then oblique, cover the head. But what we started to do is replicate the attacks that stimulate those flinches, and then slowly build a primal, protective, and tactical iteration of them. And what we're actually doing just throw some neuroscience in quick, we're myelinating the neurotransmitter each time we do that, so that the recovery time is shorter and shorter, faster and faster each time.
Got it. Yeah, it sounds phenomenal. And it sounds like, almost when you explain it, it's like, okay, that's just common sense.
Right,
Holy
right.
shit, I didn't even realize any of this, until you really go into it. And it's like, you're right. And now to weaponize it is genius. So, all right. So first thing we're gonna learn as it relates to this startle flinch is what?
So the first thing I like to teach people is to have faith in physiology. So we do a couple of drills. Our system is entirely evidence-based, right? So I can look at any violent encounter anywhere in the world. If there's a flinch, we go, is that one of the 3 flinches I showed you? Yes. Is the intended victim doing the stuff we talked about? Finger splayed, push away, cover the head. Yes. Okay. So then we start there. And then what we noticed after thousands and thousands of reps and stuff like that is that the cueing that we want, the mind-body connection, the mind navigates the body, to always do when we flinch is 3 things. Our fingers splay, we get outside 90, so this is your 90-degree angle, this is outside 90, that's inside 90. And always, like this expression, front towards enemy. So if I'm talking to you, go, hey man, I want any trouble, you start a hook punch and just stop. Calm down, and I do that. So here's what we want, stay up there with your hand. I just want to show this. So here, if we stop frame here, we go, are his hands open? Yes, his fingers are splayed. He's inside 90, and my hips, if I'm wearing body armor, my chest is facing away. So the conversion is to move my hands towards the threat so I get outside 90 and to get my body armor down range. And then why we call it spear is an icon is if I flinch and then I expand outside 90 and keep my fingers splayed, look at the shape my arms take, like a spearhead. So the spear as an icon is impale the attack. The hardest thing to teach somebody is to move towards the danger. But in an extreme close quarter fight, that's the choiceless choice. You know that. That's the only way. You got to go through the person. So there's an emotional, psychological, and physical element to the acronym spontaneous protection enabling accelerated response. Spontaneous protection is the startle flinch. Accelerated response is I'm using the kinetic energy of the flinch. Think about this. If I make you flinch, you inhale. You're stronger inhaling than you are exhaling, right? You're like, right? And when you inhale, your hands come up. I always make this joke that if somebody makes you flinch at close quarter, you almost want to kiss the bad guy because what he did is he locked and loaded your close tool arsenal. So if you make me flinch and my hands come up, I've got eye gouge, palm strike, forearm, elbows, double palm. I can punch, right? So think about right now, these are your weapon systems, but they're hanging out here. If I go motherfucker and I come at you, I've just loaded your physiology.
Yeah.
Right? So I've loaded the whole system, and that's what we say spears a bridge to your next move. But what, a lot of these demos we're start and stopping, if somebody follows through, there's going to be impact there. So the airbag has to deploy, and then you've got to metaphorically get out of the car wreck and then get back in the fight.
Got it. I'm hanging on, and I love it, is spear is the bridge to your next move. And I think that's probably the best way to kind of sum it all up. Now, can we see it in action?
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely.
All right, I'll step over here.
Case, come on in here. So the first thing for people to see is, and should I introduce Casey? Casey, this is Casey, and Casey's a retired pro Thai boxer, and he's also part of our training team.
All right, nice to meet you.
All right, and his nose didn't look like this before we broke it. We broke it just for the shoot.
Yeah, perfect.
So one of the things that we want to show people is I talked about what I'm going to demo is a finger splayed outside 90 in the spear stance. So this is the frame. It'd be the same thing as like you giving somebody a gun, and they have no idea how to hold it and how to get behind it. So what's interesting is and I'm sure there's going to be a lot of people watching this who are interested in and shoot and have a military fascination, stuff like that. Our spear stance, which is the frame that you want, actually looks like air long gun, right? But the first thing I'm going to demo just to show this is, dude, take it easy, calm down, man. Just right. So I'm over here like this, stay there. This is the airbag deploying. The beauty of this motion just looks like this. I go from startle flinch, oh fuck, to let the airbag deploy. And by maintaining finger splayed outside 90, I'm actually visualize if I had a spear here, and it's an invisible spear. Casey goes to punch me, and I just impale him. Casey goes to headbutt me, and I impale him. Casey throws a left hook, I impale him. Casey goes to tackle me, I impale him. So watch this. Right hook punch, move it in there, right? And step into it and come through. Now step in with a left hook. So if I'm here like this, watch what's happening. Come in with a tackle. All I'm doing is changing elevation and changing angle. And so all the movement, what we're training the brain to do is micro flinch, push away the danger. But the sequence, and I'll show you guys really quickly, I've got to trust finger splayed, and I got to trust this outside 90 because you use the term, this is like common sense when you hear it, but it's uncommon sense. Uncommon sense is cooler than common sense. Common sense means everyone knows it. Uncommon sense is you hear it and you, holy shit, why didn't I do that before? So the idea, you see this all the time in hockey fights and street fights, people turning and moving. The hardest thing to teach somebody is to face the danger. So if I'm in here and I'm the nonviolent posture that we're going to cover as our basic, like negotiation position, nonviolent posture, it's a Trojan horse metaphor that if I'm here in this position and I'm saying, dude, I don't want any trouble, I'm already playing battleship on this guy's head. I've already identified where I can hit him, when I can hit him. I've already threat discriminated how much danger I'm in, what am I going to do? Right? I'm looking at his closest weapon to my closest target because morally, ethically, legally, I'm still trying to de-escalate and diffuse this. Now, an important thing, because anyone listening or watching this might have a love of grappling, of boxing, of taekwondo. I want people to really understand that the spear is the bridge to your next move. So if, for demo purposes, if Casey throws, I'm talking to him, he throws a left hook, and I jam here like this, at this point here, if I'm a Thai guy, could I step in and drive a knee into the guy? Of course. Could I drop an elbow over him, right? Could I, if I'm up in position here, could I scoot under here, get behind the guy? I probably just, but could I go to tackle him here? If I'm jammed up in here, could I kick out the leg? Could I drive a knee in here? Could I start firing uppercuts? In other words, we don't know when, I call it the jack in the box moment. We don't know when the jack in the box is gonna pop. I'm walking down the street, I'm going, hey man, what's your problem? And all of a sudden he's blading, he's angling, he throws a punch at me, and I'm like, shit, I'm in position here. I weather that ambush, but at this point here, am I going blast and hitting the guy with that forearm here? Is that elbow coming across here? Is it a quick knee? I gotta, at that point there, the airbag has saved me. I then threat discriminate again. How much danger am I in? And then I fire. Our system for performance psychology is closest weapon, closest target. I would love everybody, when they're learning practical self-defense, is to understand a little bit of wrestling, a little bit of judo, a little bit of boxing, a little bit of taekwondo, a little bit of krav, because those are the tools. But we keep our tools in our mind, right? So I'm here like this, and if you ask me off camera, you know, what would you do if you had to drop this guy? I could be thinking, well, I could kick him here, I could knee him here, I could uppercut him here, I could headbutt him. But while I'm thinking about all the tools that I've learned, all the complex motor skills, he throws a punch. And I'm like, shit, I've got to weather the ambush before I can access the tools. So this is a great example of spear as a bridge to your next move.